What's up everyone, and welcome to another Bitcoin market update. In these videos you will learn how to use technical analysis to forecast price movements in your favorite cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, and also see where we are looking to buy and sell these cryptocurrencies ourselves. So let's get into it here with Bitcoin in the monthly time frame. You can see last month we set this bearish spinning top candlestick here, and since the monthly open for May, we have traded down a little bit here. So we're pretty far from both the top and the bottom of this candlestick, so we're going to need a pretty significant move to either go above it or below it. The monthly resistance level that we're currently working with is this R3 pivot up here, up at about 63.2 that we keep talking about. And that's where the price went into it here, and then we had this rejection here with above average bear volume. It's very important to note these candlesticks on the high time frames like the monthly when you're looking to trade on the lower term time frames, because it helps you establish your bias that'll then help inform your lower time frame decisions. So if we go below the previous month's low here at 47K in this month, that will set this as our monthly high, and then we'll look to come down somewhere and set our monthly higher low somewhere below, or somewhere above the September low down here of 98.21. And the reason I say that is because the gap between this high and this low is pretty significant, so it's very likely that we will set a higher low somewhere above this September low, because it would be pretty significant for us to drop, all the way back down below that in one push. It's more likely, if we're going to go into a bear market, that we would have to come down, come up, set a lower high, and then come down for a lower low. So let's go to the weekly time frame and see what the bulls have in store here. So the bulls this last week set a hidden bullish divergence on the RSI with a lower low, but price making a higher low. Now you can see this week we haven't had much follow through so far. It doesn't necessarily mean that we won't in the coming days, and we'll talk about that on the daily time frame in a second. But when you usually see this pattern, it's usually a good indication to go long, because typically, divergences on a high time frame like the weekly play out, they have a pretty significant price movement that follows. We haven't seen that just yet, but I also am looking at the daily time frame, and I'm a little bit excited to see kind of how the price action reacts in the coming couple days here. But this is the kind of range that we've established in between the R2 pivot here and the R3. You can see we've kind of just bounced around in here for quite some time, since about February. So if we break above and get a close above the R3, that's going to be significant and would potentially see us go up to the R4 here, which is up at about 80K. If we get a candle close below the R2, then we'll most likely go down to at least the R1, which is down here at about 37.8. So pretty much this range, once we get a close outside of it, in either the R3 or the R2 weekly pivots, that's where I'll be looking for either a move higher or a move lower. It's not impossible for us to come up and then in this same week come down and go below this low, but since this candle closed up so high, it's difficult for the price action to go down all the way through that entire body of that candle in the following week. So let's look at the daily time frame and get a little bit more clarity. So you can see that we have this dark blue support zone right here. There's really only two zones that I care to look at right now. One of them is this dark blue zone right here, and then the other one is this gray zone right here. So the gray zone is on the 2-day time frame. It's this candle back here from April 3rd. And this is when we had our bull trend right here. We broke down below this, which should have been support right here, and then subsequently came up into it here, rejected off of it, came up into it again, rejected off of it a second time, and now potentially we're going to go up and try and test it a third time. So if we're looking at this on the single day time frame, this is our support zone right here, this black candle from April 29th. So this is significant one thing I want to point out about this is the significance of this level. So when you have this clear trend right here with a low, high, higher low, and then higher high, you have this black candle being a very strong support level for price. So you can see we came down, we set a higher low, we didn't touch it here, came up, set a higher high, but we didn't close above this high, and then subsequently we dropped right down into this yesterday with a very bearish candlestick here, increase in bear volume. So what that means is if this level does not hold in over the course of the next few days and we go below it, this will end up being a very strong resistance level if we close 2 candlesticks below it. But I think in the bull's favor, like if I'm a bull, I want to go long here because this is pretty much the last major support level before, if we drop below it, we're going down below that light blue line at 47K, meaning our monthly high has been set, and then we're looking to come down and form a monthly higher low, which means it's a pretty significant drawdown in price typically when you're moving on the monthly time frames. So you can see price is appreciating as we're talking here, and it's potentially forming another hidden bullish divergence. So now we have the hidden bullish divergence on the weekly time frame that's already confirmed with our higher low in price and lower low in the RSI. And then if we go to the daily time frame, we have the same exact thing with a potential higher low in price and a lower low on the RSI. It's not easy to tell. You have to kind of zoom into the RSI. This one's at 44.84 and this one's at 43.93. So it's just barely dipped below. So this drawdown was significant enough for us to see that hidden bullish divergence start to show up there. So now if we end up today going above this high, which is up here about 57.256, that will validate this as a hidden bullish divergence, and we will subsequently probably continue to rise in price. If today we close somewhere below the high, then the next day we're going to need to break the high of today's candle to validate this as a valid daily hidden bullish divergence. So the blue zone's looking like, you can see with the white candlestick here, the blue zone's looking like it's holding up pretty well. We got relatively close to going below it here, but we did not actually go through it. So let's look at the 6-hour time frame and look at the only real area that I'm concerned with right now. I talked about this level yesterday. So it's this gray zone right here. It's this black candle. So this black candle, and I'll just get rid of these pink lines, but I'll talk about that in a second. This is where we had a bull trend right here. So we had a low, high, higher low, and then higher high right here with 3 candle closes above this key high. So then when we went into this zone, we almost held it as support right here. You can see that it was trying to hold it as support, but then we pushed right through it and closed candlesticks below it. So now this should act as resistance if we push into this level once again. We'll see if it ends up actually holding as resistance. As you can see, we have some pretty significant bull volume coming off of this daily bullish support level. So that will be something that I will be looking to keep an eye on over the coming days and hours, because if we go above this level and close above it, well, let's go to the 4-hour time frame and talk about this. So this black candle right here is the same exact situation on the 4-hour time frame, although this trade already played out and I talked about it yesterday. So this is where we had the bull trend right here. We went through it, closed 2 candlesticks below it, came into it right here, and then rejected off of it for 5+% push. And so now when we're coming back into this, you can see we had a pretty bullish candlestick right here, and then subsequently we've just been rising in price. So now if we come back into this zone, it's already been tested once here, so a second test of it is going to be weaker. So that's one of the reasons why this 6-hour time frame, I don't feel as confident about it as I typically would, just because on the 4-hour time frame this same area has already been tested before. So this is technically the second test on the 4-hour time frame, but on the 6-hour time frame, it's the first test. So I don't necessarily know how how the price is going to react. I might actually end up taking my orders off for this trade, but for the time being, I have my orders in, and we'll see what we end up getting. You can see that the price has risen significantly just in the course of this video. We've went up a few hundred points. So it looks like the bulls are showing up here, and if the bulls can get a close above this gray level on the 4-hour time frame, that will be very good news for them, and then we can look to potentially long this zone on a retest and go from there. So yeah, on the daily time frame, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that hidden bullish divergence here to show up. And then on the 4-hour time frame, we're looking for this gray level to flip to be support once we get a close above this zone. So that's all I got for this one, guys. If you like this video, give it a like down below and subscribe for future educational content around cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. And if you like these videos, I guarantee you will like our beginner tactical analysis course that we just released on lutheory.com. You can check a link for that in the description below as well. And you will learn everything from how to analyze volume and trends and market structure to how to analyze technical indicators and work those into your trading and investing strategy to trade and invest in cryptocurrencies intelligently. So definitely give that a look. And until next time, onward and upward.